that might somebody can keep passing on.
हरे कृष्णा जी मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि
क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन को रिकॉर्ड करने जरूरत है क्या?
हरे कृष्णा
ऑडिटिंग के लिए हो।
प्रभु जी मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे किसी का जब किसी से शादी तय हो जाता है इस लड़की से, तो फिर उस शादी के होने के पहले क्या बातें करनी चाहिए हैं, और बातें करनी भी चाहिए कि नहीं करनी चाहिए, और क्या बातें करनी चाहिए, क्या चीज़ अवॉइड करना चाहिए, क्या चीज़ ध्यान रखना चाहिए?
So you are saying between engagement and marriage, right? क्या बात करनी चाहिए, क्या नहीं करनी चाहिए? Everybody heard this question? Between engagement and marriage, should we talk, should we not talk, how much should we talk and all that, and what we should talk? So several points in this regard. Point number one, typically it is said that the period between engagement and marriage should typically period between engagement यहाँ पर अच्छा था typically period between engagement and marriage थोड़ा हाँ अभी typically period between engagement and marriage should try to be as less as possible. इसलिए बोलते हैं जब मंगनी पट गया ऐसा बोलते थे, right? So we should first of all try to have this period as less as possible, और इसको courtship period बोलते हैं typically. We should have it as less as possible. But because of so many external factors, मुहूर्त ये वो पढ़ाई लिखाई whatever other factors, it can be whatever period it is, let us say. Now in this period, very briefly to answer your question, first of all we should not spend too much time talking to each other. The reason being, it becomes over familiarity, premature over familiarity. और स्पेशली बॉयज हैव अ टेंडेंसी, स्पेशली अगर लड़की होगी आपकी लाइफ में, तो बॉयज का ऑलरेडी एक सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर होता है गर्ल्स को लेकर, करेक्ट? सो व्हाट द बॉयज में एंड अप डूइंग इज दे में एंड अप ओपनिंग द बुक ऑफ देयर लाइफ कंप्लीटली, ठीक है? अपना सारा प्लस, अपना सारा माइनस, नॉट ओनली अपना, मेरी मम्मी को ये अच्छा लगता है, मेरी मम्मी को ये अच्छा नहीं लगता है, मेरे पापा को ये अच्छा, ऐसा हो जाता है, मेरे पापा गुस्सा हो जाते हैं. यू सी देयर इज अ नेचुरल टेंडेंसी, इफ वी स्पेंड too much time talking, what will end up happening? We'll end up opening the book of our life completely, even before marriage. We'll open the book of our home, our parents and everybody. फिर होगा क्या इससे? The girl, जब वो मैरिज करके आती है, see nature has made girls in a particular way. When the girls get married to a home, I mean to a family, when they come, they are new, they are young, and whatever they are seeing is all new to them. And nature has made them in a way that they can adapt to that. That's how nature has made them. Whatever new things come in their life, they are able to adapt to that. They know, okay, this is my house. अच्छा मम्मी ऐसी है, पापा ऐसे हैं, हस्बैंड ऐसे हैं, तो ऐसे ऐसे मुझे करना है, ऐसे ऐसे मुझे नहीं करना है. They learn that way better. On the other hand, पहले से उनको सब कुछ पता है, सबका प्लस माइनस, तो क्या होता है, दिमाग में सब चल रहा होता है, right? And now they are no longer new to these things. So they are already, I would say preset about certain things, which is not good for them also in terms of their adaptability. ये एक पहली प्रॉब्लम होती है बहुत ज़्यादा बात करने के लिए. दूसरी प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है कि you are setting wrong expectations. शादी के बाद आप उतनी बात नहीं करोगे, करेक्ट? तो अभी उस लड़की क्या बोलेगी शादी के बाद, अरे आप बदल गए, पहले इतना बात करते थे, अभी नहीं करते, So that's another problem which happens. You set a wrong expectations. Better है, we should just be normal only. थोड़ा बहुत 2-3 दिन में एक बार बात कर लिया, ऐसा नहीं कि before, during engagement and marriage I've seen many people सुबह से रात तक फोन पे लगे हुए हैं, रात भर फोन पे बात कर रहे हैं. Not needed. That's not good. That's not good for body. That's not good for soul. Better है 2-3 दिन में एक बार बात कर लिया, because you should know now that you are engaged. You should know किधर है, क्या कर रही है, क्या नहीं कर रही है, right? So 2-3 दिन में एक बार थोड़ा बात कर लिया, and the बात should be little limited, and try to understand about that person more. Let that person speak, you just hear. Let that person speak more, you just hear. Like that. Would you like to add something? Yes.
So maybe we can focus on future topics as well. That is also important. That maybe you can share what you are hearing, what you heard. Maybe you can talk about devotees, their exemplary lives, service, contribution. So in that way, maybe we can keep it more spiritual, so that can inspire each other.
Okay. Any other questions? बीच में पैरेलल में चिट्स भी आप भेजते जाइए आप लोग. हम लोग रैंडमली कुछ ऐसे लेंगे, कुछ चिट्स में लेंगे. Think about anything: job, family, career, husband, wife, physics, chemistry, maths. Yes, Prabhu. And you can tell your name, Prabhu. Your name? Advait Nitai Prabhu. So you can tell your name and the question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
नहीं चल रहा है.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes. Prabhuji, myself, Dr. Prince Kumar Verma. Myself, Dr. Prince Kumar.
Are you a doctor?
Yes.
MBBS doctor, huh?
MBBS, and I have done my MD from VRD Medical College.
Are you a
Currently as assistant professor in MLB Medical College, Hasi.
Oh, Prince Prabhu. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I am already married, but somehow, yes, earlier in my life, I was a Shiva devotee. But I think in November this last year, I came to Krishna consciousness. And I'm very much serious about Krishna consciousness. But somehow I have, last year I got married. But somehow today I feel like it's better to be in the life of celibacy. Because I was, मतलब पहले मैं ऐसा था कि शादी के मूड में नहीं था. I am the only child of my parents. तो लेकिन कुछ ना कहीं उनका भी emphasize हुआ उससे और अभी ऐसा है. Currently प्रभु जी married तो हो चुका है अभी सब कुछ ऐसा, लेकिन प्रभु जी लाइफ में मतलब अभी मेरी वाइफ जो है वो भी कोऑपरेट करती है कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में. शी इज आल्सो MD from PGIMS Rohtak. Okay. And currently she is just joined at SR in same college. She is cooperating properly, but we don't want child. Is that okay in Krishna consciousness?
You speak.
Some
Sit, Prabhu. Be comfortable. First of all, I don't know what made you feel that, oh, I should have remained celibate only. Normally in my lectures, opposite effect happens. But probably today's topic was about taking more responsibility and understanding some subtle nuances of life, and probably that's what you are feeling. Arey, ye to lag raha hai bada jhanjat wala kaam hai. It's not like that. See, whatever has happened in your life has happened. You are married now. Right now, do not even think about what you are thinking. You have no right to think about it. Look back and thank Krishna. What's the formula you should follow in life? Look back and thank Krishna. Look ahead and trust Krishna. Look ahead and trust Krishna. Look around and serve Krishna. Look within and find Krishna. What is the formula we should follow in life? Look back and thank Krishna. So you got married, you should thank Krishna. Arey Vah, Krishna, thank you very much. That means this was best for me, no problem. Look ahead and trust Krishna. Look around and serve Krishna, look within and find Krishna. So, first point what I told you, don't have any negative conception about household life. Understand that this is a very wonderful ashram. In different camps we have taken previous lectures, so this was like little more advanced lectures in the sense that we were getting into some details of that. Otherwise, there are so many other lectures which probably you may not have attended about how Grihastha ashram is glorious. How Grihastha ashram is so special, so amazing, so wonderful, and how Grihastha ashram is a very, very wonderful boat in which you can sit and peacefully practice Krishna consciousness. So I would strongly recommend to hear those lectures also, so that you get the other side of story. Certainly, in every ashram there will be some plus and some minus. Plus and minus in the sense that you will have some price to pay. As a celibate, as a brahmachari also there are some price to pay. As a Grihastha you have some price to pay. Right? Now those who are not yet married, they decide not on the basis of price, but on the basis of their psychophysical nature. Because this is my nature, therefore I should be in this ashram or this ashram, and whatever ashram I am in, I should pay the price of that ashram. Before marriage, that's how we think. Those who are married, they should not even think like this. They should not think anything about this. They should not think about ashram. You are in Grihastha ashram, you should only think about how in Grihastha ashram I can become a better devotee. How in Grihastha ashram I can practice Krishna consciousness. What are the duties of a Grihastha? What are the duties of a husband? What are the duties of the wife? This is what you should think. You should not at all, ever think about, Arey, waisa kar lete, to aisa. No, look back and thank Krishna. Is this clear? Okay. Now, coming to your question about child, the purpose of Grihastha ashram is to procreate. That is why Grihastha ashram has been designed. गृहस्थ आश्रम का 2-3 मेन पर्पस है. एक है अर्निंग मनी. एक कोई गृहस्थ बोलता है मैं पैसा नहीं कमाऊंगा, राइट, या मुझे पैसा से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, वो गलत है. क्यों? हु इज मेंटेनिंग द होल सोसाइटी? टेल मी. ब्रह्मचारीज, वानप्रस्थास, सन्यासीज? थिंक अबाउट इट. नो? Which ashram is supposed to maintain the society? It is a duty of a grihastha to earn money and to support other 3 ashrams. तो कोई बोलता है नहीं मुझे पैसा नहीं कमाना है, तो या तो करोड़पति पहले से तो दे दे करोड़, नो प्रॉब्लम, या फिर वो कमाए और अपना खुद का मेंटेनेंस करे और पूरे समाज का मेंटेनेंस करे. सिमिलरली चाइल्ड, will brahmachari produce children? Will vanprasthas produce children? Will sannyasis produce children? How will society continue? How will brahmacharis be created? How will sannyasis be created? How will Vanprasthas be created? It is a duty of Grihasthas to procreate children. But in Krishna consciousness, there is a proper training for that. How we create Krishna conscious children, how we get into that act, what is Garbhodhan Sanskar, and what we are supposed to do. फिर उसके बाद कोई ट्राई कर रहा है, मेडिकल रीजन से नहीं हो रहा है, वो दूसरी बात है. तो फिर चलो, this is how it is, destiny, nature, karma and all that. But proper understanding of ashram is what? One of the characteristics of Grihastha ashram is to produce Krishna conscious children. Prabhupada's Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said, if I were a Grihastha, I would have produced 100 children. Does that answer? पर इन जनरल क्या होता है कभी-कभी जब थोड़ा ज्यादा पीपी सिंड्रोम, पीपी मतलब होता है प्रीमैच्योर परमहंसा. सुना है आपने इसके बारे में? पीपी सिंड्रोम. एक और होता है पीडीएस, प्योर डिवोटी सिंड्रोम. उसके वजह से कभी-कभी क्या हो जाता है, अरे यार ये सब पचड़ा में नहीं पड़ना है, एकदम इंटेंसली. अब चलो, मैं तो शादी के पचड़ा में नहीं पड़ता, चलो अब शादी कर लें तो कम से कम हम तो मिलकर एकदम अच्छे से कृष्णा में प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. ये सब रॉन्ग अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. आपका प्यूरिफिकेशन नहीं होगा. गृहस्थ आश्रम में रह के जो प्यूरिफिकेशन होना चाहिए वो नहीं होगा. तो इसलिए हम लोग को ये रॉन्ग अंडरस्टैंडिंग में नहीं पढ़ना है कि अच्छा हम इंटेंसली कृष्णा में प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, बच्चों के झंझट से दूर रहते हैं. दैट्स नॉट अ राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ गृहस्थ आश्रम. दैट्स अनलेस गुरु और Prabhupada orders for the sake of service कि नहीं, I want you to be like this, वो एक exception scenario हो जाता है, right? Otherwise, in general, whatever is the duties and demands of the ashram, whatever are the characteristics of the ashram, we are supposed to follow, and through that we are supposed to become Krishna conscious. And we have to understand this is good for us, and this is how Krishna has designed it for our purification. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Ji, Prabhuji. Engaging in all the activities of Grihastha, whether taking care of the family or parents or job and all things, does this all purify us?
Yes. That's why I'm saying you have not attended the other lecture. So tomorrow there is a class I'm giving on dealing with friends, right attitude towards job, career, friends, family, relatives. Please attend that class. Tomorrow in the other group, I'm giving a class called right attitude towards job, family, career, friends, family, relatives. Please attend that class. So because I can clearly see you have not attended those classes, because of which you have some fundamental questions about Grihastha ashram itself. So I think it's very, very important. And I have some recorded past lectures also I can share with you. But it's very important to understand. I give another class called Art and Science of Grihastha ashram. Art and Science of Grihastha ashram. What is? Therefore we said in the morning, we have to become a better devotee not in spite of Grihastha ashram, which is what your mental model is currently, but through Grihastha ashram, for which we need to understand how the Grihastha ashram works, what is the science and art of Grihastha ashram. Right, Prabhu? Would you like to add something?
Hare Krishna. So that Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, right? I am that sex life which is not wanted to religious principles. So that means sex life is not forbidden, but sex life only for procreation is what is recommended. Because that's why we should not think that having children is something which is not good or not recommended. In fact, having more children, sometimes we see that, they're having so many children, 2, 3, 4. Never think like that. So they want to take more responsibility. So that's what you understand. And so we need more children from the devotee families. Okay. So right now, if you see, I heard this number like this. I don't know where you got this number. So there should be 2.1 children in any family for the generation to continue. 2.1.
And to culture to propagate.
To culture to propagate.
To preserve and all that.
Preserve. So why 0.1? Some may become in between brahmacharis and sannyasis. Okay. At least 2 remains.
So 2 का 2 हुआ. 2 का 1.5 या something हुआ तो कम होता चला जा रहा है.
So in fact, if you see, there's some religious people, for them, what took 2, like 3, 5, the minimum like that they maintain. And if you see their population increasing like anything, they have to just go in one place, and you see soon that country 5-10 years they're going to become dominant. And now if devotees, if you don't do this responsibility as a grihastha, then what will happen in the future? Right, that's very important. Another thing is that if you properly do Garbhodhan Samskar and follow the principles, and then we give birth to child, the child who comes is very empowered child. Most of the time we are trying to train the children, but if the child is already born to a devotee, and they have done proper Garbhodhan Samskar and prayers, so he can become very powerful devotee action. Because the mother and father attract the child who already has higher consciousness. That's what we see. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, how he was appeared, right? Bhakti Thakur prayed, to Jagannath, so that please send me one, way of preaching, way of Prabhupada, already his father is a great Vaishnava. So we should think that perspective. That's why, as Prabhuji is mentioning that, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said that I can give birth to 100 children if I am married. So that perspective we should.
Do attend this class tomorrow, Prabhu. Right attitude towards job, family, career.
I think it's our first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Do you want to take this? And now it's not that for every question both of us have to speak. You take questions.
Yeah, okay.
So that we can take more questions.
What can be preaching activities for a Vyasacharya? Preaching activities for Vyasacharya, right? Yeah, so preaching activities in the sense, as Arjun was telling yesterday, I think some of you are not, most of you are not there, right? Yeah, we should try to keep some house program in our home, so that will at least once a week, whoever nearby people are there. So that gives us engagement for the family and for us to speak. So it increases cooperation, the cooperation between the husband and wife. A lot of things actually happen. And if not, we cannot do at home. Maybe we can do it nearby somebody home. We can make somebody's house as center that we can do. And if you think that's not possible, we can do it one-to-one. Preaching doesn't mean that you have to give class only, but it can always we can do preach one-to-one also. So, but we should have some activity because preaching, so we are going to have session on first morning that Monday morning. That by preaching we are going to get benefit more. So, as a teacher, I can tell that the more we teach, the more I learn. The first person to be benefit is myself, because we have to give class, to be 1 hour class. Obviously, you have to prepare, you have to read a lot, hear a lot, and then consolidate, summarize, and then speak. And once you give one class, you will not forget. Right? So, by preaching, we are getting the first benefit. So that's what you have to understand. That's why you have to take it high priority. And one first time I remember, there is one devotee called Bhavananda Prabhu. Right? Bhavan is to Bhavananda Maharaj. So, what is the meaning of Bhavananda? Devotee knows Bhavananda.
Bhava
Bhava? Anand. Bhava means middle word. Happiness was the middle word. And devotees used to make fun of him, like that sometimes these devotees, right? So Bhavanand Das. So why did Prabhupada name Bhavanand? What is the happiness in the middle word? Right? So then he was like, so then one time he went to Prabhupada. Then asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why did you keep my name? For disabled are sometimes very straightforward, they're very open. So he asked Prabhupada, why did you keep this name? Then Prabhupada said, yes, there is one happiness in the middle world, which is not there in the spiritual world. Something missing in the spiritual world. So what is that? Preaching. Why? Spiritual world, who will preach? What will preach? Everybody is a devotee. So the happiness you get, and I'm sure some of you have experienced, when you bring somebody to Krishna consciousness, they start chanting, they start transitioning down, they get initiated. The happiness you get, will not come from anything else whatever you achieve in your life. Even if you have crores of rupees, or even if you achieve so many things, even if you achieve Nobel Prize, even if you become PM of India, you become whatever, you will not get the happiness what you get from preaching for us. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Very quickly to answer a few more things about preaching activities. As Prabhuji said, home programs we can do. Secondly, college programs. The first programs typically brahmacharis don't do. Right? So it's a special privilege of grihasthas to do those college programs. Right? One-time programs and college programs. Second, that means bridge between society and brahmacharis. There are many places where brahmacharis can't go and grihasthas can go. Third, children programs. Female programs with wife. Wives can take care of females. They also need training, they also need education, they also need programs. Brahmacharis can do, grihasthas can do. So there are so many services which only grihasthas can do. Similarly, coming to it's not just about these programs. Taking care of the whole temple. There are so many nice evolved temples all over India where grihasthas take charge of full temple on Sundays. Those services. There are some devotees here running a school. Right? In fact, on Monday morning, we are going to see how there are so many services which only Grahasthas can typically. It's a very unique contribution of Grahasthas to ISKCON. Right? Prabhupada sent 3 couples to London to start Krishna consciousness. Right?
In Delhi also many temple presidents are Grahasthas.
In general, there are many temple presidents who are Grahasthas, depending on which phase of life we are in. Right? So as Vanprasthas, people can do more and more. So many opportunities like that. Okay. So I'll take the next question now.
Actually, Prabhuji is also running one center in Bangalore. So Prabhuji will explain that.
Okay, so this question is, there are 2 questions which are similar. How to find a partner in today's time? People are self-centered, traditional practices are considered as patriarchy by most modern women. And the other question was how to look for a devotee match. I'll answer both these together. I will answer both these together. See, certainly today's times are different from earlier times. पहले जब लड़की देखने जाते थे तो मैंने सुना है बोलते थे चल के दिखाओ, गा के दिखाओ, खाना बनाना आता है क्या, like that. Today this may be considered as patriarchy. गाँव में या बहुत सी जगह होता होगा, पर I'm sure ये question इस context में है modern woman, तो उसमें चल के दिखाओ तो नहीं बोलेंगे क्या कर रहे हैं, वो छोड़ के चले जाएंगे. Anyway, we have to understand the principles, right? There is a full session. I think in one camp we had given how to find a suitable marriage life partner. इसका पूरा वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग रहेगा हमारे कानपुर के नित्यानंद सभा चैनल में. So whoever has asked this question, it's my strongest recommendation. Please hear that class. How to find a life partner. There's a पूरा full class on it, right? अभी I'll just touch upon some 2-3 points. Like for example, सबसे पहला point है compatibility, wavelength matching. कि भाई ठीक है, is this person my type of person? Can I live my entire life with him or can I live my entire life with her? वो कंपनी कॉर्पोरेट माइंडसेट में इतना हिम और हर का हो गया है, जेंडर बायस, यहाँ तो सब हिम ही है तो फिर सो कैन आई स्पेंड माय लाइफ. फिर उनका फैमिली कैसा है, व्हाट इज देयर कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड, फैमिली बैकग्राउंड. जब हम प्रीचिंग करते हैं कॉलेज में, जो नए फर्स्ट ईयर्स लोग को प्रीचिंग करते हैं, बहुत बार देखते हैं ना, अरे ये वाला जो है इसके अंदर बहुत अच्छे संस्कार हैं, ISKCON डिवोटी वाले ही ना हो, करेक्ट, पता चल जाता है देख के कि दिस पर्सन इज वेरी डिवोशनल माइंडेड, दिस पर्सन इज कमिंग फ्रॉम गुड फैमिली बैकग्राउंड. ये सब चीजें हमें देखनी चाहिए. संस्कार क्या है, कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड क्या है, फैमिली बैकग्राउंड क्या है, पेरेंट्स कैसे हैं, बाकी भाई बहन कैसे हैं, फ्री टाइम में कौन क्या करता है. देखो मैं शॉर्ट में फटाफट बता रहा हूँ, पर इन दैट क्लास इट्स ऑल डिटेल. फ्री टाइम में कोई क्या करता है, हॉबीज क्या हैं, सैटरडे संडे को क्या करता है, करती है, सैटरडे संडे को क्या करती है, फिर घर में मम्मी पापा के बीच में रिलेशनशिप कैसा है, हैज शी सीन अ ब्रोकन फैमिली और हैज शी सीन अ फुलफिल्ड फैमिली, व्हाट इज हर चाइल्डहुड, व्हाट इज हर अपब्रिंगिंग, उनकी मदर उनके फादर को डोमिनेट करती हैं क्या. There are so many things which are to be seen, how to find a life partner. So like that. So maybe we can discuss more details later. But ये जो कुछ indications है, फिर nature, fundamental nature. So जो हम कहीं बाहर गए और उनका attitude होता है ना, कुछ लोगों का जो पैसा होता है, attitude होता है, सबको सर्वेंट जैसे ही समझते हैं. ये ठीक से साफ कर दो, निकलता है. ऐसा व्यक्ति है कि हर एक को अच्छे से humbly बात करने वाला व्यक्ति है, हर छोटे व्यक्ति को भी बराबर का रेस्पेक्ट देने वाला व्यक्ति है. एकदम नेचर की बातें, जेन्युइन ह्यूमन बीइंग, सिंसियर, डिवोशनल माइंडेड. ISKCON का नहीं भी अगर हो तो कुछ स्पिरिचुअलिटी का अंडरस्टैंडिंग. एथीस्ट है कि एकदम हार्डकोर एथीस्ट से आप क्यों शादी करोगे, एकदम हार्डकोर एथीस्ट. कोई हो सकता है बिकॉज ऑफ इनोसेंस एथीस्ट हो, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट केस. बिकॉज ऑफ द वे ऑफ मॉडर्न एजुकेशन को एथीस्ट हो, पर जैसे ही आपने कुछ बातें बताई वो तुरंत डिवोटी बन गया. दैट इज वंडरफुल. Devotee बन, that is wonderful, right? Similarly, as I said, parents का nature, family background, and so many things are there. Any other thing you like to add? और age वगैरह वो सब तो है.
So we also normally ask to take a horoscope, man. That actually gives lot of clarity, because like sometimes people try to talk, and understand, but that also doesn't work because there's a lot of attraction between the opposite sex. So we don't get to the point. But horoscope checking is also one thing we recommend. We check compatibility at all different levels. Physical level, including that whether you can have children or not. Even that is also there. Some if you see the man and woman, so some combination they will not have children also. So physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual. We suffered, Devagan, Manushigan, Akshishgan. So these all are very scientifically given systems. So that is strongly normally very good. Okay, so that beforehand only we know what are things which are matching, what things doesn't match. Okay, that is one has to go through. Okay. So, because I know the importance of Garbhan Samskar, but deep emotional exchanges with husband and wife end up in intercourse. For wives, such moments are deep and then they feel its need. So, what we should do? Should we fulfill them? Following nice.
And this one is also, I think, similar.
Okay. So, if wife is more lusty, then how to make her understand that sex life is only for begetting children, not for sense enjoyment. Yeah. So. Yeah, so I'm assuming again this can be a different case. The wife is a devotee and non-devotee. We need to see that. I think there are different ways to handle it. But one thing we have to understand is that why this need is coming. That's one thing we need to focus. So we cannot focus on the external thing. What is that internal thing? What is the root cause which is making other person rest? So that we have to understand for ourselves also, other person also. So that's why I want to maybe talk on the philosophical level in the sense like we want to be happy. Everybody wants happiness because we are soul and we are looking for happiness. And then because we forget that we are the soul, and then we start looking for happiness in the material world. And then usually that also mostly through the sensual happiness. So that's what actual normal happiness. So if you find our partner to be something like that, so what we should do is, whether they're devotees or non-devotees. If they're devotees, obviously we should try to engage them more and more in spiritual things. We should create atmosphere such that they experience spiritual happiness. We should create that facility. So that hankering will reduce. Okay, so that is one thing. Apart from that, we should also try to material means how we can fulfill that happiness. See, we need happiness. If that comes from somewhere other, then we will not hanker for lower happiness. Okay, so what is that word? Param Dashra Nivatante, in the sense like if you get higher taste, we will not hanker for the lower taste. So apart from spiritual life, materially also we should try. So especially one important thing is that engaging according to our skills and talents. That's very important. See, if person is busy whole day doing what he is good at, according to skills and talents, we see that this hankering for the sensual talent actually naturally goes down. That is not fulfilled. Imagine you are doing a whole day something which you are not good at, which you don't like, you are frustrated. Then in the night, so because the whole day you miss something, in the night you want to compensate that. And I'm sure it will happen to us also. Especially when you're doing job, it's really frustrating, which is really sucking you out. And if you're married, I'm sure we will also get sucked. So that's why engaging around the material skills and talents is very important. So that is like higher happiness in the mode of goodness, we can say. That is our varnashram. So what is that varna we are talking about? So we are engaged according to our skill and through that we get some higher happiness. So that we will not hanker for the lower sensual happiness.
Just to add a few things here. First of all, there is a misconception that women will be more lusty. You will realize that you will end up being more lusty. It's a male's weak point, first of all, it's not females. When we hear in the Shastras that women can be 9 times more lusty, that is about, let's say this is the graph. Y-axis is the degree of lust or whatever, desire for sexual enjoyment. Men, so let's say this is the zero of Y-axis, right? Men are already here, always, constant. Women are typically here, but whenever they get triggered, then they can be even more than this. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Right? In general, it's a man, this sex desire or the problem of engaging too much in this between husband and wife is normally coming from male and not from female in general. That's what has been seen. Number one. Number two, philosophy is one thing and all the other things which have been said is certainly one thing which we should try. At the end of the day, we will have to understand that this is indeed one of the aspects of emotional and physical bonding between husband and wife. So if there is a very strong need of one partner, it could be husband or wife, this need cannot be denied. Because if this need is artificially denied, then this is what leads to extramarital affairs and illicit relationships outside, which is even worse. which is abominable, which is unimaginable, right? So therefore, it is just like Ekadashi fasting, which we discussed, right? One is fasting, but whole day one is thinking of food. What is better? Eat and preach, correct? Similarly, in Grihastha life, we will see that in several occasions we will have to come to honest terms, right? Maybe for myself or for the other person, wherein we have to accept the realities of certain things and move ahead. What is more important is to actually focus on Krishna. At times that becomes even more important. And one very important fact is that initially when one gets married, obviously there is a lot of physical attraction. You know, initially, especially if somebody has not seen a girl, touched a girl and all that, right? So first 6 months, one will have a lot of attraction. First 6 months, 1 year. उस समय अपने आप को इतना भी ज़्यादा डिप्रेशन में डालने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. We don't have to create unnecessary torture for the rest of our life, because if that time that bonding is not created, it is going to create big problems in future. Better let things be natural and simple, and I'll just add some more things there about this. So, or after some time, now we'll see, after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, automatically that subsides. Right? So we don't have to be too afraid about it. Secondly, in nature, Krishna has already provided some kind of natural contraceptives. There is they have this monthly cycle. There is something called a safe period, and all those kinds of things are also there. These things we can discuss more personally also at times. These kind of topics are also covered. You know, like Krishna Kishore had taken, you know, in some initial Sabha camps and all that, with full graph and everything he used to tell. First day, 30th day, 20th day, like that. So these are also there in nature, like Krishna. So if I have to just focus on principle, what I'm trying to tell is 2-3 things. First is what Prabhuji said, philosophically we should have that understanding. That okay, is it a need which can be also fulfilled from somewhere else? Let's say if it is becoming too gross or too frequent by another partner, you have to see, is it a symptom of something else lacking somewhere? Right? That is one. Second, after addressing that, we have to also understand that normally it is women who falls more prey. You know, and women are typically not in the mood every time. Men will always be in the mood. That's how they are. You know, they are always here like that, right? So we have to first of all control ourselves. You will see that it will be a more practical reality. Third thing which I said is, all this is okay, but still we have to come to terms with our reality and honesty, honest living of Grihastha life. What is better, to engage in this or to suppress this and look for it outside? These cases have happened in the past, which is abominable and unthinkable, right? Fourthly, as I said, nature has its own way, of what's the right way of engaging in this kind of thing also, even if we don't want a child. And yet another thing what I said, over time anyway this goes away. Initially there will be a lot of attraction, a lot of these things. Of course, we have to focus on our spiritual practices, we have to focus on our sadhana, but we don't at any cost have to do some wrong things like, okay, after marriage, husband is sleeping there, wife is sleeping there. All these things are not good for married life. This is not good for creating a lifelong partnership and all that stuff. And there is another class which we take called languages of love. Right? In that, if you see, there are 5 languages of love. One of the languages of love is physical touch. It is indeed a language of love. Husband and wife के बीच में नहीं होगा तो किसके बीच में होगा? You see? So we have to also have a very right understanding of these things. ठीक है? Okay. Now this question is about career. Some devotees guide us to take a job in temple itself. Some say that better work outside and preach, etc. Which one is good? Which way is good? Regarding job, please understand one thing very clearly. ये तो खाली 2 ही है. कुछ बोलते हैं टीचिंग जॉब कर लो, अच्छा रहेगा. कुछ बोलेंगे, कोई ब्रह्मचारी आपको बोलेंगे, अरे ये जो डिवोटी है ना, इसका बिजनेस है, बस फोन पे 2 घंटा उसका काम हो जाता है, पर वो बिजनेस कर लो. ये सब बेकार की बात है. क्या है ये सब? रिकॉर्ड भी हो रहा है. ये सब क्या है? वन मैन्स फूड. आपको वो जॉब लेना है जो आपके वर्णा को सूट करे. वर्णा मतलब क्या? कलर ऑफ माइंड. वर्णा मतलब क्या होता है पता है? वर्ण. कृष्णा किस वर्ण के हैं? वर्ण मतलब क्या? कलर. कलर जॉब, कलर जॉब जगह कलरिंग करने का क्या? नहीं, कलर ऑफ माइंड, प्रोपेंसिटी, उसको बोलते हैं प्रोपेंसिटी, कलर ऑफ माइंड. मैं ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूं जो टीचिंग जॉब कर लिए बिना ये समझे कि वो टीचर नहीं है, और दे वर कंटेम्पलेटिंग सुसाइड आफ्टर ज्वाइनिंग टीचिंग जॉब. तो क्या बोलोगे आप? टीचिंग जॉब अच्छा है? डिपेंड्स. वो फिश और वाला एग्जांपल था ना, मिल्क इज बेटर देन वाटर, डज नॉट मीन यू कीप फिश इन मिल्क. फिश के लिए वाटर अच्छा है, इसके लिए ये अच्छा है. करेक्ट? ये पहली बात जानने की जॉब के बारे में. कोई ब्लैंकेट स्टेटमेंट नहीं देने का, ये जॉब अच्छा है, वो जॉब अच्छा नहीं है. नेवर. यस, कुछ जॉब हो सकते हैं जो बहुत ही कंड्यूसिव ना हो कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस के लिए, वो अवॉइड कर दो. जैसे सोचो कि कोई मीट फैक्ट्री में जॉब है, तो करोगे क्या? नहीं, हम उन जॉब्स की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम रेगुलर जॉब्स की बात कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे 4 रेगुलर प्रिंसिपल्स ब्रेक नहीं होते हैं डायरेक्टली, करेक्ट? Among those jobs we have to choose job based on what, where we will thrive, what is according to our requirement. कोई ब्लैंकेट बिजनेस, जो बिजनेस नहीं करता है वो बोल सकता है कि बिजनेस बहुत अच्छा है, क्योंकि जो करता है उससे पूछ लो। जॉब इज 8 आवर्स बिजनेस, बिजनेस इज 24 आवर्स जॉब। क्या बोला मैंने? अब करो बिजनेस और आओ मंदिर। हम सक्सेसफुल एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं, अच्छा उसका फोन पे 2 घंटा काम चल रहा है तो हम बोल देते हैं बिजनेस करो। ऐसा नहीं भैया, कितना मेहनत करना पड़ता है, कितना पापड़ करना पड़ता है, कितना ग्राउंड से खड़ा होना पड़ता है। खून में बिजनेस होना चाहिए, पहली बात है। मारवाड़ी बनिया एंड ऑल दैट, गुजराती, खून में बिजनेस होना चाहिए, फैमिली का सपोर्ट होना चाहिए। बिजनेस एक टीम से होता है, और तभी आप सक्सेसफुल। उसमें भी इतना पापड़, कोई सैटरडे नहीं, कोई संडे नहीं। अब वो चूज करना है। हाँ, कोई उसमें थ्राइव कर सकता है, उसमें बहुत अच्छे से। जैसे एक आश्रम के लिए ट्रू है कि कोई कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस अच्छे से ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम ज्वाइन करके कर सकता है, कोई गृहस्थ आश्रम करके कर सकता है। सिमिलरली कोई इस वर्णा में थ्राइव करेगा, कोई इस जॉब में थ्राइव करेगा, कोई इस जॉब में थ्राइव करेगा। वही तो, क्योंकि उसको कौन सा स्ट्रगल अच्छा लग रहा है, कौन सा स्ट्रगल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है। दैट इज योर वर्णा। नेवर आस्क योर माइंड व्हाट इज योर वर्णा। चैतन्य प्रभु सेज दिस, नेवर आस्क योर माइंड व्हाट इज योर वर्णा। माइंड विल ऑलवेज से अभी जो मैं कर रहा हूं वो मेरा वर्णा नहीं है। क्योंकि स्ट्रगल माइंड को नहीं चाहिए। एक स्ट्रगल आया नहीं, अरे लगता है मेरा वर्णा नहीं है, प्यूरिफिकेशन कैसे होगा भैया अगर आप स्ट्रगल के थ्रू नहीं गुजरोगे तो माइंड इसे नहीं पूछने का मेरा वर्णा क्या है। बहुत सारे टेस्ट होते हैं इसके, टेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, बहुत सारी चीजें। हमको कुछ तरह का स्ट्रगल एंजाइटी देता है और किस तरह का स्ट्रगल हमको अच्छा लगता है। प्लस बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं कर सकते अपने लाइफ के साथ आप। यू विल एंड अप मेसिंग योर लाइफ, you will be nowhere after 5 years. Forget Krishna consciousness, you will not be seen around anywhere if you experiment too much with your life right? क्यों? हम कोई ऐसा गुरुकुल सिस्टम से नहीं आए हैं, एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास प्योर एजुकेशन सिस्टम था जहाँ पे आपको bring out west, educare comes from a Greek word which means bringing out the best from within, right? जिसका सक्सेस क्या होगा आपको ग्रेजुएशन के बाद पता चलता है आप क्या चीज के लिए बने हो। हमारा अभी का जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम जिससे हम लोग निकले हैं, कुछ पता नहीं हम लोग क्या है क्या नहीं, राइट? पर चलो इंजीनियर है, ये वाला इंजीनियरिंग हमने किया है तो उसके हिसाब से जो जॉब है वो ले लो। ओके, उसमें एक्सपेरिमेंट ज्यादा नहीं कर सकते हम, ये सोच के अरे मेरा, क्योंकि आपका एक एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड है, आपका एक क्वालिफिकेशन है, उस समय पर सही काम करते नहीं जाओगे ना तो फिर वो एक्सपेरिमेंट ही करते रह जाओगे आप कि ये कर रहे वो कर रहे, कभी वो कर रहे और सेटल ही नहीं हो पाए। अभी अब 35 साल के हो गए, 40 साल के हो गए, अभी तक सेटल ही नहीं हो पाए। यू आर गेटिंग इट? तो बेटर जो मोमेंटम है उसको कंटिन्यू। एनीवे 99% of the people in the world are not doing what they like to do. That's unfortunate reality of the material civilization. That's the unfortunate reality of the education system. आप अचानक से इसको अपने केस में पूरा चेंज नहीं कर सकते drastically. So sometimes you have to flow with the current also, without being analyzing too much. और आप देखोगे ऐसे devotees successful devotees हैं ISKCON में. If you see any successful grahasthas who are contributing a lot to mission and who are doing good sadhana, you will see their material life is sorted. Then only they are able to do it. Otherwise, they cannot do it. Right? So all these things require very balanced and very important guidance. And also important thing related to this: never underperform in the name of Krishna consciousness. कि अरे आप ये भी जॉब कर सकते थे, आप ये भी जॉब कर सकते थे। एक हो गया वरना वाली बात। अब मैं दूसरी बात बता रहा हूँ। ओ ये जॉब करो, इसमें आपको कम टाइम देना पड़ेगा, you know? और जैसे मान लो प्रोजेक्ट है, 4th ईयर का कोई स्टूडेंट है, 3rd ईयर का स्टूडेंट है, उसको प्रोजेक्ट लेना है, right? कभी-कभी I have seen some people have guided them, oh take the worst project, take the bare minimum वाला project. Do you think it is good or bad? Bad. Because he'll end up struggling whole life now. अच्छा, तो ये एक बैड हो गया। दूसरा एक्सट्रीम बताता हूँ, और ये एकदम ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट करो, खून पसीना एक करके दिन रात 24 घंटा करके एकदम बेस्ट, आपको बिल गेट्स बनना है, आपको जेफ बेजोस बनना है। ये क्या गुड और बैड? क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या है इसमें? पर सच में कोई जेफ बेजोस हुआ तो अब उसको जेफ बेजोस होने से रोक रहे हो? सोचो कितने टेंपल बन जाएंगे। अमरीश प्रभु को 500 करोड़ रुपया नहीं दे रहे तो बनता है DOEP। सच में कोई अमरीश प्रभु जैसा आदमी है उसको बोलोगे अरे बैठ के यहाँ झाड़ू लगाओ तो क्या होगा? इस मामले कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा। तो गुड और बैड? स्टार मार्क, कंडीशंस अप्लाई। इसलिए मैंने क्या फॉर्मूला बोला? नेवर अंडर परफॉर्म इन द नेम ऑफ कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस। काम करो, अगर आप टॉपर हो तो टॉप करो, अगर आप फेलियर हो फेल करो। You understand? हर आदमी थोड़ी जेफ बेजोस बन जाएगा या अंबानी बन जाएगा। आपको अपना 8-10 घंटा बेस्ट देके अपना काम करना है। उससे आप तेंदुलकर बन जाइए, नो प्रॉब्लम। उससे आप झाड़ू वाले लगाने वाले बन जाइए, नो प्रॉब्लम। दैट इज बाय कर्मा। दैट इज माई डेस्टिनी, दैट इज प्रसाद ऑफ कृष्णा। बट इसलिए मैं बहुत सोच समझ के सेंटेंस बोल रहा हूँ। क्या बोल रहा हूँ? नेवर अंडर परफॉर्म इन द नेम ऑफ कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस। जो आपको कृष्णा ने दिया है, जो इंटेलिजेंस, जो एबिलिटी, जो बैकग्राउंड, जो फैमिली, जो फाइनेंस, जो इंटेलिजेंस, जो हाथ पैर, उस हिसाब से सर्विस करिए अपना बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे। देन यू विल बी एबल टू सर्व कृष्णा, सर्व योरसेल्फ, सर्व सोसाइटी। पर आप सोचोगे नहीं मैं कम से कम करूँ जिससे मैं जॉब में रीडिंग हेयरिंग कर लूँ, वो बैकफायर कर जाएगा। मैं ऐसे डिवोटीज को जानता हूँ जिन्होंने कंपनी खोला, डिवोटीज ने कंपनी खोला एक अच्छे इरादे से कि चलो डिवोटी लोग को जॉब देंगे। सब आए डिवोटी लोग काम करने, क्या कर रहे हैं ऑफिस में? चलो भागवतम पढ़ते हैं, चलो रीडिंग हेयरिंग करते हैं। वो डिवोटी इतना फेड अप हो गया, अब उसने पॉलिसी बना दिया है किसी को भी लूंगा कंपनी में, डिवोटी को तो नहीं लूंगा। आप अग्री करते हो मेरी बात से? आप कंपनी खोलोगे तो आप किसको लोगे? बताओ, शर्माने का नहीं, सिंपल। तो रॉन्ग एग्जांपल वी डोंट हैव टू सेट इन द सोसाइटी, वी हैव टू डेकोरेट द आश्रम, नॉट पोल्यूट द आश्रम। इज दिस क्लियर? उसमें कैसे हम समझेंगे प्रयास हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है? नेचुरल इंस्ट्रक्शन भी पढ़ा है, पढ़ना है, प्रयास से बचना है। टाइम 24 आवर्स है आपके पास, इतना आपको इसके लिए देना है, इतना इसके लिए देना है। अब इसमें हम अपना बेस्ट पॉसिबल देंगे, जो मिल गया वो कृष्ण प्रसाद। उसमें तेंदुलकर बन जाइए, अंबानी बन जाइए, मोदी बन जाइए, योगी बन जाइए, या कोई जो बन जाइए, जो आया प्रसाद। लेकिन अंडर परफॉर्म, is this clear, this principle? Every right understanding has a wrong understanding.
प्रभु एक क्वेश्चन।
Yes.
जैसे आप कह रहे हैं कि जॉब का, जैसे जॉब में ऑलरेडी बहुत ज़्यादा आवर्स का काम हो जाता है, 9 घंटे लग जाए इसमें, और हमें ऐसा लग रहा है
8-9 घंटा बहुत ज्यादा हो गया। आनंद नाम लोगों का नाम सुना है?
हाँ,
क्या चीज के लिए जाने जाते हैं वो ISKCON में? स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ में। क्वेश्चन से एक बात है, और एक फायर, इसी लाइफ में जाना है प्रभु। सुना है उनका लेक्चर, इंटेंसिटी ऑफ कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस, फायर ऑफ कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस। यू नो व्हाट ही टोल्ड मी वंस? प्रभु, इन 20s and 30s devotee should be ready to work hard for 12 to 13 hours a day. अब रिकंसाइल करो दोनों को।
प्रभु उसमें ये भी है
इसी तो 8-9 घंटा काम करने को हम लोग को ये नहीं समझना चाहिए कि अरे बाप रे थक गए, अरे उतना तो करना। कृष्णा स्मरण प्रभु का नाम सुना है? Now he is not as such in ISKCON per se, but he is known to be like a very very fired up devotee, IIT Delhi professor, very fired up devotee, good friend of Radheshyam Prabhu, known for very strong sadhana। रास्तों को भी पूरा लाइन में खड़ा कर देते, यात्रा पे ले जाते थे तो एक केला मिलता था बस। That's the kind of devotee Krishna Smaran Prabhu was. I don't know, he may be right now like that. तो एक बार उन्होंने क्लास दिया बैलेंसिंग स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ एंड मटेरियल लाइफ, एंड वन आवर पुणे सीनियर डिवोटी हिज ग्रेस गोविंदानंद प्रभु ही आस्क्ड, प्रभु हाउ टू बैलेंस मटेरियल लाइफ स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ? प्रभु सेड, इसको 8 घंटा जो ड्यू है मटेरियल लाइफ को, पूरा 8 घंटा दो। कम दोगे तो बाद में वी विल ब्लेम कृष्णा फॉर व्हाटएवर बैड थिंग्स वुड हैपन इन आवर लाइफ। So we have to have this under proper understanding, you know. And 20s and 30s are meant to work hard. And that I would have said, maybe अब क्वेश्चन आंसर में आया तो मैं बोल देता हूँ कि सर्विस का क्या होगा, मूवमेंट का क्या होगा। मंडे टू फ्राइडे आप वर्क हार्ड करो अपने करियर के लिए, 8 to 10 hours, 10 hours peacefully, taking commute and all that, no doubt about it. Saturday, Sunday, and इस भी phases पे डिपेंड करता है। Let's say you have just passed out from boys, and till marriage जो भी साल है, पूरा झोंक दो अपने आप को मिशन में। मंडे टू फ्राइडे नहीं, सैटरडे संडे। सैटरडे संडे तो आपका है ना। अभी इस समय कोई आपका वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, मैरिज भी नहीं हुआ है। मैरिज के बाद जब वाइफ न्यू है तो आपको थोड़ा टाइम वाइफ को भी देना पड़ेगा। फिर बच्चे हो गए तो आपको ऐसी सर्विसेज देनी पड़ेगी जैसे ही सेट फॉर होम प्रोग्राम्स वेयर द फैमिली गेट्स इन्वॉल्वड। आवर सर्विसेज चेंज ग्रेजुअली डिपेंडिंग ऑन द फेज ऑफ लाइफ, राइट? व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज इफ वी लिव लाइफ लाइक दिस देन यू विल बी एबल टू लाइफ लॉन्ग कंट्रीब्यूट योर ओन जन्म सार्थक करी कर परोपकार। अदरवाइज इफ यू टेक एक्सट्रीम्स, रिमेंबर द सी कंसिस्टेंसी, फैनेटिक डिसीजंस विल बी नोवेयर। नाउ यू कैन आस्क प्रभु।
9-10 घंटा तो काम हो गया, उसके बाद बॉयज की भी बहुत सारी सर्विसेज रहती हैं क्योंकि मेरा वर्क फ्रॉम होम तो वहाँ पे भी करना होता है। उसके बाद अब समय ही नहीं मिलता है कि मतलब हम कुछ पढ़ने बैठे हैं और उसमें थकान हो जाती है कि मतलब अपना वो कंटिन्यू नहीं होगा, होता भी कब होता है लेकिन कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं होती। और इधर बैकग्राउंड में भी चल रहा है कि भाई जॉब का है, अगर हम जैसे अभी IT प्रोजी क्या हो रहा है, टेक्निकली बहुत चेंज होता जा रहा है,
अपडेट होना पड़ेगा नहीं तो निकाल देगा। AI आ गया अब तो वैसे ही सब जॉब खतरे में। मैं समझ गया आपका क्वेश्चन, तो कैसे करें इसको? इसका आंसर सिंपल प्रभु ये है, अगर किसी को गृहस्था बनना है, मतलब जो नित्यानंद सभा में है, उसको अपना बाउंड्री बनाना पड़ेगा। 8 से 10 घंटा आपको जॉब को देना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद आपको अपना धोती कुर्ता भी धोना है, सुखाना है, सुबह आपका 16 राउंड चैंटिंग भी है, 2 घंटा सुबह नहीं हुआ है तो बाद में चैंटिंग भी बचा है, ये सब है। तो मंडे टू फ्राइडे सोचो आप कुछ खास नहीं कर सकते। तो जो सर्विसेज वगैरह है ना, वॉइस में आपको मंडे टू फ्राइडे बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकते बड़ी बड़ी वाली, जितना आप रहने के लिए होता है, जो घर में भी रह रहे होते तो करते, उतना ही कर सकते हैं। सैटरडे संडे ज़्यादा सर्विसेज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर अभी ये चीज़ ध्यान नहीं दिया तो ये बैकफायर कर जाएगा लोग। और फिर लोग वीडियो बनाएंगे, एंटी इस्कॉन वीडियोस, देखा है आपने? वॉइस ने मेरा लाइफ बर्बाद कर दिया, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया। एंटी इस्कॉन वीडियोस बनाएंगे, एंटी वॉइस वीडियोस बनाएंगे, ऐसा मत करिए। बेटर है होल लाइफ वॉइस को हम प्रीच कर सकते हैं, सेवा कर सकते हैं, बढ़िया से कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। कैसे? जब सही समय पर सही चीज़ पे फोकस किया है। उसके लिए मैं 24 घंटा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि 16 राउंड इंपॉर्टेंट है, एसोसिएटेड ड्यूटीज इंपॉर्टेंट, डेली सुबह रीडिंग हियरिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है, करेक्ट? तो सुबह कृष्णा को दे दिया, दिन में ड्यूटी को दे दिया, शाम को आफ्टर मैरिज फैमिली को दे देते हैं। लेकिन अभी आप वॉइस में जो थोड़ा बहुत सर्विस शाम को कर लिया, पर लिमिट बनाना पड़ेगा। डोंट गेट कैरिड अवे, राइट? एंड आई एम गेटिंग रिकॉर्डेड, बट आई स्टिल से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के कुछ नीड्स होते हैं। Mature leaders will never compromise people for organization, but you never know wherever you are how mature that leader is. Correct? And that's how accidents happen, right? So mature leaders will always balance these things and take care of everybody's needs. लेकिन you never know how your particular leader how he is, तो फिर खुद भी अपना, आप भी छोटे बच्चे नहीं हो. Everybody is responsible and can take their own decisions. So preaching भी compromise नहीं होना है, पर Saturday Sunday को करेंगे अच्छे से पूरा, you know. मंडे टू फ्राइडे में हम जितना कर सकते हैं उतना ही करेंगे। पर ये अभी कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर दिया अगर, और अगर आपको गृहस्थ बनना है तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, फिर आप लाइफ में वॉइस को ब्लेम करोगे। लाइक दैट। यू वांट टू ऐड टू दिस पॉइंट?
Yes, so we should not go to other extreme that we want to do job some of our namesake, but whatever you are doing, we should try to go in depth and try to become expert. So that's what you need to try. So the more you become expert, now you see that in the future, the time will automatically reduce. So as a student, you're not married, that is, you can actually learn nicely. So you have to really put effort. Again, boundary has to be there. So we have to maintain that actually. So never neglect. As a teacher, I can see that many students actually neglect it. And later they regret. As long as in the college, your campus placement, there are a lot of opportunities, but after some time, it's very difficult to find a good job. Okay, so please don't compromise and then do your best. Actually, this is also another kind of preaching, please understand. So when you are saying preaching, so we are representing the society. People are looking at us actually. Okay, so I'm in a central government. I can say that we find all kinds of people. There are some people who are really working hard, and there are some people who don't work hard because their job is permanent now, right? And especially when they get promoted to professor, then there are no promotions. So then they are very peaceful.
Then no problem. तब थोड़ी हम ज़्यादा काम करेंगे.
But people are seeing, okay, are you also like that? In the sense that, okay, are you also lazy? You also want to take money from the government? You don't want to do your responsibility. So we are in the job means we do our best. It's not that we enjoy money and then we don't do anything. So please be careful about this.
I know one case, one boy in a reputed college, through training and placement he got a job. Somebody guided him to not take that job. वो बिना बताए कुछ तो हो गया, join ही नहीं किया. That company banned this college. Now that company is not coming to that college now. Such a bad example he said. कि डिवोटी लोग तुम्हारे कृष्णा वाले ऐसे होते हैं, कि ज्वाइन ही नहीं किया और कुछ इंटीमेशन भी नहीं दिया, कंपनी पूछने को एक तरह से भाग ही गए, राइट? वी कैन नेवर ब्रिंग बैड नेम टू कृष्णा एंड कृष्णा डिवोटीज एंड ISKCON एंड प्रभुपाद बाय बीइंग irresponsible.
To what extent we should try to fulfill our parents' wants if they're not devotees?
Those questions which are repeated, we are kind of combining and
I think maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow's session, but so we have to differentiate what is need and what is required, and what is. We have to put some boundaries like that. Very important. So we have to be careful about that, and then obviously, parents, we have to be grateful to them. They have spent so much time, money, energy to grow them. So we have some obligations to take care of these things. So that we need to be very clear. But if you see it is too excessive and then other things maybe that time maybe we can discuss with our authorities and then classify. But the basic things we have to be fulfilled, and then we have to take the responsibility. Even I remember like cases like Maharaj, like if Maharaj told some brahmacharis to go home and take care of their parents. From ashram also.
Yeah, every brahmachari goes twice a year to their home, once or twice a year.
And some brahmacharis even spend months also because the parents are not feeling well.
What to speak of Grahasthas? Just imagine.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one question. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
प्रभु जैसे हम ऑफिस में जॉब वर्क करते हैं तो जैसे हम सोचते हैं कि वो उनको भी टीच करना है अपने जो कलीग्स हैं और लेकिन हमको उसके साथ साथ अपनी कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस को भी प्रोटेक्ट करके रखना है कि जैसे मतलब चैलेंज क्या आता है क्योंकि जैसे वो कुछ ऑफर करते हैं कुछ खाने के लिए तो हम नहीं हर चीज़ में मना करते हैं कि दिस इज नॉट ऑफर टू कृष्णा एंड दिस इज ऐसे करके तो मतलब मेरे को करेक्ट कीजिएगा मतलब ऐसा प्रश्न पूछ रहा हूँ तो प्रभु जी हमको कैसे करना चाहिए कि एक तरफ हमने वो क्योंकि नेगेटिव इमेज बन जाता है हमारे लिए हमारे
बिल्कुल बनेगा
तो
पूरी दुनिया पड़ी है प्रीचिंग करने के लिए तो सबसे पहले मेरे बगल में जो बैठा है उसी को प्रीचिंग करना जरूरी है थिंक अबाउट इट आई जस्ट कंप्लीट द होल आंसर फिर आप क्वेश्चन करेंगे पूरी दुनिया पड़ी है प्रीचिंग करने के लिए जो हमारे बगल में बैठा है उसको प्रीचिंग करने का इतना जरूरत अभी अर्जेंसी है नहीं प्रीचिंग मूवमेंट को क्योंकि मैं बताता हूँ क्यों या तो आप रॉक स्टार हो रॉक स्टार मतलब क्या एकदम MIT से मतलब कौन सा MIT मतलब फपोर इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी देखो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ये जो कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड है ना ये कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड ले लो ये इनका प्रभुजी का IIT कानपुर ले लो कोई भी ले लो यहाँ पे फिर भी थिंग्स आर मोर और लेस इंडिपेंडेंट लाइक एवरी फैकल्टी इज लाइक अ इंडिपेंडेंट किंग इन इटसेल्फ IIT का फैकल्टी मतलब किंग है वो अपने आप में वो आप ज्वाइन कर लो फर्स्ट क्लास बात हो गया अगर आपका वो प्रोपेंसिटी है तो नहीं तो कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड जो होता है टिपिकली जो आई थिंक वेयर द क्वेश्चन इज कमिंग फ्रॉम क्योंकि वहाँ पे ये कलीग वाला टेंशन यहाँ होता है भी नहीं अपना आ रहा है हर फैकल्टी एक तरह से अपना किंग है जितना हद तक चाहता है उतना बाकी फैकल्टी से कर रहा है इफ यू कैन करेक्ट मी पर कमिंग बैक टू कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड एंड टीम एंड कलीग्स एंड ऑल दैट तो पहली बात तो अगर आप सचिन तेंदुलकर हो तो जो मन वो करो लोग सैल्यूट ही करेंगे लेकिन अगर आप एकदम पपलू टाइप हो किसी तरह से परफॉर्मेंस उसका कुछ तो रेटिंग आ रहा है कुछ तो समाप्त करके काम हो रहा है मैनेजर गाली पे गाली दी जा रहा है 1-on-1 में अब बोलते हैं कृष्णा चैंपियन लेट लॉस्ट और लेके जाओ कृष्णा को अपने साथ ऑफेंस करवा रहे अंडरस्टैंड पहले एक औकात होनी चाहिए बात करने के लिए पॉइंट नंबर 1 पॉइंट नंबर 2 कि कोई दे रहा है सामने वाला कुछ खिलाने के लिए पिलाने के लिए जबरदस्ती का कृष्णा को मत लाइए बीच में अननेसेसरली सामने वाले का भी ईगो हर्ट होता है और मैंने बताया ना आप कौन हो पहले देखो आपकी इमेज क्या है कंपनी में टीम में आपको रेस्पेक्ट से देख रहे हैं क्या तो उस सिचुएशन का फायदा उठाओ प्रचार कर दो वन मैन्स फूड इज अनदर मैन्स पॉइजन प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ये बातें बहुत सटल बातें होती हैं मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा कि अरे इतना फायदा होते हुए प्रचार नहीं कर रहा है गलत काम कर रहा है अरे इन्फ्लुएंस है तो कर दो इन्फ्लुएंस पर पहले देखो आप कौन हो लोग आपको किस नजर से देख रहे हैं ऑलरेडी मजाक बना रहे हैं अगर यू नो और आपने अच्छा एग्जांपल अगर सेट नहीं किया नॉट अबाउट यू पर से आई एम जस्ट कवरिंग द होल आंसर तो हमको देखना पड़ेगा हम क्या बोले क्या ना बोले सामने वाले का भी फॉल्स ईगो होता है अगर आप बोलो अरे मैं चाय कॉफी नहीं पीता हूँ ये तमोगुण क्या होता है तो बोलेगा अच्छा तो मेरे को राक्षस बोल रहे हो जबरदस्ती और वो उल्टी करेगा और मजाक उड़ाएगा और ग्रेट नहीं फॉर हेल्थ रीजंस आई डोंट ड्रिंक काम खत्म करो भाई प्रचार बाकी 50 को और कर दो जो अपने घर के पीछे रहते हैं डेली वीकली प्रोग्राम करो घर में शाम को भगवद गीता का आर यू गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग वी शुड हैव द स्मार्टनेस ऑफ हाउ टू डील विद द कलीग्स इन ऑफिस बिकॉज़ योर करियर कैन बी एट स्टेक यू डोंट वांट टू सेट अ रॉन्ग एग्जांपल you want to set a right example of how Krishna devotees are and then once you get one this thing then you भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर क्यों उनका इतना बात करते हैं अरे हाई कोर्ट मजिस्ट्रेट थे जो लोग 3 दिन में करते हैं वो आधे घंटे में करते थे अब वो जो बोले लोग सैल्यूट करेंगे करेक्ट एक एग्जांपल आप मेरे को दिखाओ शास्त्रों में जिसको कि समाज बोल रहा था ये किसी काम का नहीं और उसने जो बोला लोग बोले यस सर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ द वर्ल्ड वर्क्स ब्रह्मचारी की हम बात करते हैं राइट कौन ब्रह्मचारी फेमस है नाम बताइए कोई गौरांग प्रभु कहाँ से है क्या कर रहे हैं हिला रहे दुनिया को करेक्ट when people are accomplished then others salute या फिर बहुत ही ज्यादा प्यूरिटी टाइप का आदमी हो जाए जैसे और स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर्स कि फिर उसमें they have that कृष्ण शक्ति You know, irrespective, फिर वो जॉब थोड़ी कर रहा होगा, बैठ के टीम लंच थोड़ी कर रहा होगा टीम के साथ. You see what I'm trying to say? Either we have to have that post because of ashram, sannyas ashram. Everybody will salute sannyasis. Right? किसी कंपनी में, गूगल में राधानंद महाराज चले जाए, जयप्रकाश महाराज चले जाए, everybody will naturally get up. सन्यासी दे द रेस्पेक्ट. या तो आपका आश्रम से रेस्पेक्ट हो, या एज से रेस्पेक्ट हो. ना आपका आश्रम से रेस्पेक्ट है अभी सन्यासी होने, ना एज से रेस्पेक्ट, अपनी टीम में सबसे छोटा हो, हैं? और उसमें भी क्वालिफिकेशन या स्किल और परफॉर्मेंस के बेस पे पता नहीं कहाँ है, राइट? उसके बाद आप बोलते हो, तो यहाँ प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. ये सब समझना बहुत जरूरी होता है. दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट एट वर्क प्लेस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, एनी अदर एंगल ऑफ द क्वेश्चन वाज देयर?
मैं पूछ रहा था कि जैसे अगर हमको क्या लाइक अपने बाउंड्री सेट करना चाहिए,
हाँ, तो मेन क्वेश्चन ये था उनका. मैं तो थोड़ा जोश में आया. तो क्वेश्चन ये था कि चलो भाई ऐसा होता है, मुझे ठीक है, ऐसे ही कर रहे हैं हम सब नॉर्मली. अब मान लो कोई टीम लंच हो गया या कैसे हो, राज हम एक पॉइंट बताते हैं. नेवर हाइड योर आइडेंटिटी एज अ डिवोटी, बिकॉज माया विल कीप मेकिंग यू कॉम्प्रोमाइज अगेन आफ्टर अगेन, मतलब अगेन एंड अगेन. तो अपना आइडेंटिटी एज अ डिवोटी हाइड भी नहीं करना है. तो बताना देखो, and again depending on how convinced you are, how confident you are, and how they perceive you, either you can say for health reasons I don't do this, or you can say for spiritual reasons I don't do this. Come, no problem. We should not hide our identity as a devotee, otherwise then they'll keep making you compromise one after the other, और फिर आप कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे, right? So पहले दिन से बोल दिया भैया, I follow spirituality, I attend ISKCON classes, I follow ISKCON, and I follow certain principles in my life. That's it. काम करना, people respect you for that. So प्रोफेशनल बाउंड्रीज भी एक रहना चाहिए. जो अच्छी कंपनीज होते हैं, जहाँ अच्छा प्रोफेशनल वर्क एनवायरनमेंट होता है, पीपल डू नॉट लाइक टू एंटर इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ. एज लॉन्ग एज यू कैन वेरी फर्मली एंड पोलाइटली से आई हैव सर्टेन स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिसेस, बस अब वो डर जाएंगे, वो घुसेंगे नहीं उसमें, क्योंकि उनके ऊपर केस हो सकता है. अगर आपको पर्सनल लाइफ के बारे में वो वर्क प्लेस हैरेसमेंट और ये वाला आजकल कितना हो गया है. इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट विद फीमेल्स, इट्स अबाउट इफ एनीबॉडी इज गेटिंग इनटू माय पर्सनल लाइफ एंड रिडिक्यूलिंग मी फॉर दैट, आई कैन फायर देम थ्रू HR. वी शुड नो अबाउट ऑल दीस थिंग्स. Work environment, work ethics. Everybody is supposed to mandatorily do these courses every 6 months. Work ethics, code of conduct, business ethics, and all that, right? तो ये सब भी अपने को पता होना चाहिए कि भाई professionally people will not enter into your personal space as long as. लेकिन हाँ, अगर आप preaching करने बैठ जाओगे, उनको आप खराब दिखाने लग जाओगे, उनको बताओ कि ये अच्छा नहीं होता है, ये तामसिक होता है वगैरह, वो तभी करो, one on one करो पहली बात तो. ग्रुप में कभी मत करो. ग्रुप में डीमंस शक्तिशाली हो जाते हैं, डिवोटीज भी हो जाते हैं, पर डीमन भी हो जाते हैं. वरना किसी का जेन्युइन हो, क्योंकि सब ना शर्माते हैं. सच में सच को कोई, अगर सच में कोई अप्रिशिएट भी कर रहा होगा ना, ग्रुप में तो जो ग्रुप बोल रहे हैं उसी का पार्ट बन जाएगा. लेकिन इंडिविजुअली जो सिंसियर होंगे वो आपसे पूछेंगे मेरे को और बताओ थोड़ा, तो बताओ उनको. तो उस मौके को मत छोड़ो. You see what I'm saying? When individually somebody is opening up their heart to you, or somebody is asking some questions about life, death, birth, spirituality, Radhesham Prabhu's classes, तब पूरा full wholesale दे दो individual. है ना? और कमिंग बैक टू दिस अगेन, यू कैन से थिंग्स लाइक आई डोंट ईट आउटसाइड फूड, आई ईट ओनली फूड ऑफर्ड टू गॉड. प्राउडली बोलो, एकदम कॉन्फिडेंटली, आई ईट ओनली फूड बिकॉज़ अकॉर्डिंग टू गॉड. नहीं, ये मत बोलना, ये सिंपल होता है. फिर उसका पॉजिटिव टच है भाई. डिपेंडिंग ऑन क्या हो, आपको कैसे देख रहे हैं, आपकी एज क्या है, बाकी सब आपसे छोटे हैं कि आपसे बड़े हैं. लाइक एज मैनेजर इन माय टीम मैं भी बोल देता हूं वैसा, यू नो. एंड देन बिकॉज़ डिफरेंट. और मैं जब शुरू में था 20 साल पहले व्हाटएवर, तब मैं ऐसे नहीं बोलूंगा. देखना पड़ेगा हमारा किसके साथ क्या रिलेशनशिप है. वन ऑन वन में कोई पूछ रहा है तब एज से फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. पूछ रहा है ना, वो तो मैं बता रहा हूँ. अरे आप क्यों नहीं खाते हो, मैं देखा है बाकी ISKCON लोग भी नहीं खाते, तो बता दो. उस समय मत, क्योंकि प्रीचिंग मूवमेंट है तो कर दो. यू अंडरस्टूड ना, मतलब टाइम प्लेस सर्कमस्टेंसेस. हो गया प्रभु?
तो जिसमें मतलब दिस लास्ट चीज, जैसे हम अनकंफर्टेबल फील करते हैं, जैसे उन्होंने आपको हर चीज के लिए मना कर रहे हैं कि आप ये भी नहीं खाते हो. हां,
इसलिए हर चीज के लिए मना नहीं करना है. इसलिए पहली बात तो हर पार्टी में नहीं जाना है. कभी जाना है, कभी नहीं. वो लोग भी थोड़ी ना हर एक में जा रहे हैं. कभी किसी का वाइफ कुछ हो जाती, कभी कुछ होता है, नहीं आता, नॉट टुडे, आई एम नॉट एबल टू कम. काम खत्म हो गया. जब जा रहे हैं तब जूस पी लो, या कुछ और खा लो, या अपना घर का लेके जाओ. बोला मैं बाहर का नहीं खाता हूँ, खत्म काम. और अगर हम स्पिरिचुअलिटी को नहीं बोल पा रहे तो बोल दो बिकॉज़ ऑफ हेल्थ रीजंस आई डोंट, मेरे को ये ज्यादा मसाला बाहर का खाना मेरे को सूट नहीं करता, डॉक्टर हैज आस्क्ड मी टू अवॉइड. खत्म काम. घर का लेके जाओ. बहुत होटल में बाहर का खाना अलाउ नहीं करते हैं, पर अगर 10 लोग की टीम में जा रहे हो आप, तो एक को आप बोलोगे आई एम विद द टीम, तो वो एक को अलाउ कर देंगे. उसके चक्कर में पूरी टीम को कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करना चाहेंगे. लेकिन टीम ऑफ 10 अगर एक अपना खाना ला रहा है तो दीस रेस्टोरेंट्स नोटिस दे डोंट माइंड. जूस पी सकते हो आप वहां, थोड़ा सा ले लो, उनका पार्टी बन जाओ. थोड़ा करना पड़ता है ये वर्क प्लेस एथिक्स के लिए, वर्क प्लेस जेल वेल करने के लिए. यू डोंट वांट टू बी कॉर्नर्ड, यू डोंट वांट टू बिकम एन ऑड मैन आउट, यू डोंट वांट टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज योर प्रिंसिपल्स. बट इसको थोड़ा सा सख्ती करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आपको उनके साथ भी रहना है, करियर बनाना है अपना, वो भी जरूरी है. तो ये समझना जरूरी है. हम एकदम ऐसा स्ट्रिक्ट, ऐसा सो कॉल्ड स्ट्रिक्ट करके फैनेटिक होके नहीं रह सकते हैं. देन दे विल, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू ग्रो इन योर करियर. तो स्मार्टली करना पड़ता है. प्रे टू कृष्णा करना पड़ता है थोड़ा. चलो थोड़ा जूस पी लिया, कभी कभी तो किसी को पता ही मत चलने दो ना कि कुछ नाव को हाईलाइट ही मत करो ज्यादा, तो ऑटोमेटिक अरे इतने सारे लोग हैं, कोई कुछ खा रहा है, कोई कुछ खा रहा है, मैंने ये खा लिया, काम खत्म हो गया। हमको क्या, हमको भी एक चढ़ा रहता है, मैं सबको बताता हूँ मैं अनियन गार्लिक चुपचाप। अब शायद शादी में गए हो आप, मान लो हैं, अब शादी में हंगामा करना है, चुपचाप दही लेके खा के आ जाओ। नहीं, मेरे को तो पार्टी चाहिए था ना, मैं शादी में गया हूँ, बिना पार्टी के कैसे आ सकता हूँ? नहीं भैया, हम तो आप हमारे लिए बिना निंदा करके बना सकते हैं क्या? अरे छोड़ो ना, तुम उस दिन खाली दही खा के आ जाओ, कभी चावल खा के आ जाओ, रूखा सूखा चीनी डाल के, मतलब चाहे तो सब कर सकते हैं।
So I think, yeah, I mean, I draw the suggestion that we should go to the parties and then just eat fruits or fruit salad. And that's what sometimes they expect. You know, at least there's no catfish has come.
इनफैक्ट फ्रूट खाने को असल मॉडर्न मानते हैं, तो हजार रुपए देके फ्रूट पेट ले रहे हैं लोग। आप 5,000 खर्चा कराओ कंपनी का।
And also how you convey is very important. How you tell them that, you know, so why you don't eat has to be told properly. That's very important.
Yeah.
It's not what you tell, but how you tell is very important.
Yes.
I think usually people manage, and so you try to basically you try to support them in other ways also. In the sense, most of the time we don't help them any other ways, and then when it comes to food, we say no. It looks like completely we are taking away from them, in the sense like, so you compensate somewhere else.
Yeah, very good point. And our dealings with them should be like of a perfect gentleman. Then they will appreciate us. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe one thing more, khao and khilao to me. Now I feed them more regularly than they feed me.
तो क्या बोल रहे हैं आपकी?
I keep them
अच्छा,
feeding
प्रशांत।
with, I keep them feeding like a khao, but they feel like okay, they need some gel time to basically.
Yeah.
So while eating is the best time to gel.
Yes.
So I offer them instead of accepting their offer.
That's also a good idea.
But eventually I've seen that, you know, within few months or year it gets settled. Initially the problem is there. And they understand.
और हम professionally बोले अगर तो people understand their professional space and all.
So how and at what correct time I should introduce Krishna consciousness to newly married wife? Or marriage is just got fixed. So I think this is the case, you are marrying a non-devotee, right? So at what time we should introduce? After marriage or before marriage? So I think, so here, I think one thing we normally recommend is that if you are marrying non-devotee wife, so I just said horoscope is one thing very important aspect. In that, we normally recommend Devagan, in the sense like somebody is Devagan, they have a lot of inclination to practice accept spirituality. I mean, it's natural. They may not be devotee now.
Yeah, they may not be ISKCON devotee per se.
Yeah, but they can easily pick up bhakti. Okay, so that is one thing I think we have to ensure. I mean, that's what I want, the minimum bond decline actually. So I'm assuming that because otherwise other people it's usually difficult. So what we should do is that you know, again depends on the case to case, the sense, you know, that you have to judge based on your talks. Okay, whether that person interested, you can start with okay. You know, so normally I ask suppose somebody from Andhra, I say, have you visited Tirupati? Have you gone to this temple? You know, that's how we started to understand how much they are spiritual. So then immediately we understand, you know, then accordingly we can start. But directly, we have to be very careful. First judge, you know, don't directly start, but talk, understand, and then say how much they are inclined. Again, they may not be inclined at this point. Okay, now right now maybe they are going to a different phase of life, something may be bothering them. So that also we need to check. So sometimes it may be good that you introduce before only, but sometimes we may see that after marriage. But so we have to be very mature to understand when to start, when to begin.
And one more thing is that culture is very, very important. So Prabhupada says you make somebody a devotee by knowledge, culture and devotion. For females, culture works a lot, wherein make them develop friendship with senior devotee Matajis. Right? Once they get into friendship with some senior chosen, not everybody. Different Matajis can set different standards and can take somebody on a ride totally differently here and there. So you should choose some Matajis who are very senior and exemplary in how a female should be, and then make them develop friendship with them, seek their help, and then like that the train will proceed. Very important thing, you should never be the main preacher for your wife. That will not work. That will not work. So make somebody else come into life, and then that way things will happen. Now we'll very quickly take few questions here. How to make parents a devotee? We cannot make anybody a devotee like that. Only Paramahamsa can do that. All the best we can do is, we can just be nice son to them. We can set a very good example. Be strict with ourselves, lenient with them. Don't argue with them, don't fight with them. They love you. If they love you, if they are serving you, you are becoming devotee. Who are they serving and loving? Devotee. Krishna is in their heart. They will gradually become devotee. Serve them prasadam. Be nice to them, be kind to them, understand their needs and concerns. Don't try to make them something. Naturally, they will become devotees. Don't try to make them something. And as I said, through somebody else. For them, you are sitting in your stool and urine 5 years back. उनके लिए 5 years. Why क्या बोले कि कल आप उनको अब ज्ञान दे रहे हो भगवद गीता का, will not work. आप क्या कर सकते हो? Be a nice son. Be a kind, nice, gentle son. Set right example. Be strict with yourself, lenient with others. And through somebody else, जो वो appreciate करते हैं, उनके साथ मिला लो. उनका spiritual train, family members के केस में सबसे important है, उनका spiritual train के driver आप नहीं होने चाहिए. उनको अलग-अलग spiritual train में बैठा दो. The moment they start making friends with other devotees in the temple, उनका journey निकल पड़ेगा. आप रियलाइज भी नहीं कर पाओगे कैसे निकल गया और कहाँ निकल गया, निकल पड़ेगा. फिर देखो आप उनको क्या अच्छा लगता है, कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में क्या अच्छा लग रहा है, वो क्या चीज़ पे अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं, उस चीज़ से उनको ज़्यादा कांटेक्ट करवा दो. किसी को बुक्स अच्छा लगेगा, किसी को डिवोटीज अच्छे लग रहे हैं, किसी को डिवोटी के घर में जाके प्रोग्राम अटेंड करना अच्छा लग रहा है, किसी को दर्शन करना अच्छा लग रहा है. जिसको जो अच्छा लग रहा है कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में, वो फैसिलिटेट और ज़्यादा करवा दो. दैट्स द बेस्ट वी कैन डू. प्रीचिंग करके इन जनरल काम नहीं होता है, स्पेशली बड़ों के साथ और वाइफ के साथ. प्रीचिंग करके, सो कॉल्ड प्रीचिंग, यू आर गेटिंग. व्हेन आई वाज गेटिंग मैरिड, वन ऑफ द इंस्ट्रक्शंस व्हिच आई गॉट वाज डोंट प्रीच टू योर वाइफ. वो बात है कि मैंने शादी के पहले ही प्रीच कर दिया था. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट मैटर, बट सो देयर कैन बी एक्सेप्शन केसेस हियर एंड देयर, बट इन जनरल जब हम इतने क्लोज होते हैं किसी के, तो वो प्रीचिंग वर्ड वाला, ऐसा वाला प्रीचिंग उतना काम नहीं करता जितना एग्जांपल वाला काम करता है. लाइक दैट. Very quickly, this question I'll take. My question is regarding lust management. Time management होता है, personality management. Lust management. As I have a very strong sanskar of imagination and masturbation, although never had physical intimacy ever, it's very difficult to overcome. So how to deal with physical need as sex life is only for procreation? Bro, इतना ज़्यादा टेंशन नहीं लेने का. ये जो बात है ना, sex life is only for procreation, इसको लेके हवा नहीं बनाने का है, नहीं तो हम जिंदा ही नहीं रह पाएंगे. Right? गृहस्थ आश्रम ultimately is to cater to all these kinds of needs also. राइट. जो ब्रह्मचारी बनना चाहता है, अगर उसके ऐसे स्ट्रॉन्ग इंप्रेशंस होते हैं या इस तरह का मास्टरबेशन टाइप की चीज होता है, उनके क्वेश्चनर में होता है तो उसको क्या रिकमेंड करते हैं? सर अब यहाँ से फंस जाएगा कि आत्महत्या कर ले, नहीं बताइए, नहीं ना. तो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, वी आर नॉट प्योर डिवोटीज, वी हैव अ लेवल राइट नाउ. व्हाट इज कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस? टू गो फ्रॉम हियर अप, नॉट कि आप मुंह छुपा ले, घुस जाए, गड्ढा में गिर जाए. राइट. चैतन्य महाप्रभु हु पतित पावन. इफ आई एम सिंसियर, हाँ मेरा रीडिंग हियरिंग चल रहा है, मेरा चैंटिंग चल रहा है, आई एम ट्राइंग टू इंप्रूव, बस आई विल इंप्रूव. वी ट्राई टू ओवरकम व्हाटएवर अनर्थास, व्हाटएवर कंडीशनिंग्स, व्हाटएवर हैबिट्स, व्हाटएवर पास्ट संस्कारास वी हैव, बट वी विल नॉट पोल्यूट द आश्रम. इसको बोलते हैं इलिसिट सेक्स विद अ कैपिटल आई एंड अ स्मॉल आई. गृहस्थ आश्रम में जब कोई सेक्स करता है, इवन विदाउट अ डिजायर टू प्रोड्यूस चिल्ड्रन, वो कम से कम कैपिटल आई वाला इलिसिट सेक्स नहीं है भाई. कोई एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ गलत काम नहीं हो रहा है, इट्स परफेक्टली फाइन. ठीक है, स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए उतना बहुत बढ़िया नहीं है, तो कौन सा हम बोल रहे हैं कि हम प्योर डिवोटी हैं? नहीं है ना. तो जीना छोड़ दें कि यहाँ से करें, आगे बढ़ें. व्हाट डू यू फील? बस लुक बैक एंड थैंक कृष्णा, लुक अहेड एंड ट्रस्ट कृष्णा. चैंट करिए अच्छे से, एसोसिएशन लीजिए, मंदिर जाइए, जो भी पॉजिटिव स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिसेस करिए, अपने आप धीरे धीरे वी विल बी एबल टू. दैट्स ट्रू विद लस्ट ओनली. व्हाई? दैट्स ट्रू विद ग्रीड आल्सो. That's true envy also. क्या पूरा ग्रेड चला गया, पूरा एनवी चला गया, पूरा फॉल्स ईगो चला गया? नहीं ना. तो it's true with everything. We have to be honest, not try to hide anything, and from there let's continue and let's proceed by the power of Krishna consciousness, by the power of association process will work. But we should be sincere. And whenever we fall into wrong things, we should repent. We should pray to Krishna and we should seek for his power. Like that. Anything you would add?
Yeah, I think as Prabhuji mentioning, so I think like we should not focus on positive aspects more. I think that will actually solve this problem. So by doing more bhakti, intensely or bhakti, that will automatically go down. But at least point you're not able to control, that's fine. As long as the ashram. But if you go outside Thailand, that becomes actually the problem. Okay. Very good.
I have to go for another class, but I would request you should please continue. Prabhu, ये जो questions we have addressed करो. Please continue the question answer session to whatever time allows. I have to go for another class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You continue, Prabhu.
Sometimes we hear among devotees that devotees divorce rate is higher among as compared to outside world. Is it fact? If yes, then how to avoid the situation? Yeah, so here then again, I don't know from where you get these figures, the statistics. The divorce in among devotees is much higher than compared to non-devotees. Okay, so by the way, you might have heard this, right? Divorce is actually decreasing these days compared to before. Heard this one? Did you hear? It's true actually. Divorce is actually going down compared to before. Do you know why? कोई शादी नहीं कर रहे. Okay. So they already know. Why you should get married? All these problems. So then what is obviously the answer will reduce, right? So these statistics, I mean, I also hear people speaking, but again, don't believe on these figures. But important point is that how we should avoid the situation. That's what now we strongly recommend this horoscope match. Because if both husband and wife are pure devotees, there's no problem. Okay, so differences will come. But to the extent we are advanced, to that extent, that differences will not make any problem. So that's why so in generally all devotees recommend that you first match, see what are the compatibility. This will solve all the problem, I tell you. No need to think so much because already Lord has given this system. Right? So Lord has given system to compare yourself, all levels. I'm saying physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, everything is covered. What else we need to know? Right? So that's the safest process, and then I think that will avoid all these problems. So we do our best. And we have seen that if you take care of this one, then there is no problems. So most of the time these problems come because we get married and sometimes sometimes people do that. Okay, my counselor told I should get married and I got married. So that is okay as a surrender, but I mean you have to be careful. So we have to know our level also, right? What is our level of surrender? And I think that's all. I mean, but after that, so we have choice before getting married what to do and all. But after marriage, we have to commit. After marriage, we have to try to do our best. But once you are married, then there is no question of going back. Till the time you get married, you have choice. But after you married, then there is no question of going back. Because so this will actually displease Guru and Krishna. Please understand. Now we think that is Krishna's arrangement that I married to her. Krishna want me to get purified through this person. So that's why it happened. So let me continue. That had to be fixed. And actually it was our culture before. But somehow now this culture is gone. But you have seen families also like that. Okay? So please don't think that now by changing my partner I will become more happy. That's what people think. By changing my partner I will become happy. But how you can become happy? By getting Krishna. Okay? So by having Krishna you will become happy. Even if you get the best spouse, even if you get the best job, even if you get the best money, income, whatever, that will not make you happy. If you have Krishna, you will become happy. So don't think that you are not happy because of spouse. Never think like that. That's where problems start. Never think, you are not happy because you don't have Krishna. So when you're clear with this, and then you are always under guidance of counselor, mentor, this problem will never come. All problems come because they don't, at least one of them is not following counselor. If one follows a counselor, mentor, this will not happen. That is, if both don't follow, then that's where problem comes. Okay? Prabhuji, I am working from home. Mostly I work like 10 to 12 hours. But my wife got irritated because of it. She says, I don't give time to her. Even I am with him. How to deal with that? Yeah, so 10 to 12 hours. So, we have 24 hours, right? Already we know that, sort of 24 hours, that is 12 hours are working, still we have 12 hours left. And then we need some time for spirituality. And then sometime we need to, especially this issue, we need to focus. We need to give dedicated time. The problem comes here, I will tell you most of the time. It's not the quantity of time, please understand. So the quantity, it is the quality. So what happens, like, you're working 10 to 12 hours, and then after that, you sit with your wife for dinner, you're talking with dinner, but your mind is somewhere else. You're thinking something else, that happened, this happened. So the person doesn't feel your presence, that is the problem actually. So I will tell you, even if you go half an hour, 15 minutes, just that quality time, be absorbed, So that's what we see. You might have heard about PM mode, So how much time you get appointment, maybe if you get, But people feel that he is with you. Why? Because he is focused. And that's what we see, everybody, all senior devotees also. That you are there, now you are giving whatever time, but be with them. Leave everything aside, just talk. I think instead of, we should hear more, that is also important. Sometimes you are with your wife and you are talking about, oh, this happened, that happened, this problem, that problem, this problem. You are talking about yourself only, you are talking about your office problem only. But that is also a great problem. So, give priority, whatever time you are able to give, that's fine, but give quality. I'm sure that will solve the problem. And again, so weekends you can spend more time, right? Monday to Friday you are able to spend, but Saturday, Sunday you can take time. So you give specific time, you both of you can go together somewhere. May not be temple, it's not that you go to temple, you can go to some place, some beach, some park, spend quality time also. Okay, that will also solve the problem. Okay, any other question? It's already 6:40. Yes.
I have one question. There are many phases in the Grihastha life. One is before marriage and after marriage, and there is a Garbhadhan period, and after that, when the child is born, so the initial period of 1, 2 year, 3 year, a little bit challenging for the Grihastha, for that couple, because nowadays families are nuclear, so the child responsibility is also upon these both only. So in this case, because we need, actually I was thinking that we need training for every phase, because currently we are not in the joint family, so that culture that passes through the lineage. So my question is, when the child is small, 1 or 2 year, then there are two things. One is the schedule which was before, now the schedule is totally disturbed. So the late night, the child doesn't sleep on time. So, and also when sleep is disturbed, then the morning also disturbed. Then the chanting goes in the night. And one thing is sadhana, that becomes struggling. And second one is yatras. So in the initial 1 or 2 year, the baby is small, so for the yatra they have to skip the yatra or come with the yatra with lots of management or some family member they took. So in this situation, how to manage? What are the thumb rules? Either sadhana is also taking care or yatra also they can attend.
Yeah, very important question. So yes, probably we always go through different phases. Okay, so I think I should also mention that You know, we need to balance. Doesn't mean that sometimes, so you're driving a cycle, right? So driving a cycle, so sometimes you may tilt to this side. In the sense, sometimes we are spending more time on spirituality. Some we are getting time, but sometimes we are not able to give that. Sometimes we have to spend more time with family. So that is fine. But the cycle keeps going in the sense that there is a boundary line which is kept. So sometimes it may happen that we are able to just chant. Okay. So that's again because we know why it is happening at all. That got very clear, and especially this phase, especially nuclear family, it's really challenging. So at least if you find good devotee community, that is also there is no guarantee, right? So it's fine for you during that time. What you can do is that if you skip yatra, maybe that is also okay. That is fine, but maybe you can hear online lecture. That is one thing. Sometimes what I've seen that they go and then what they do is that so especially in the yatra, important thing is hearing Maharaj lecture, right? So one day husband will hear the lecture, so mother will take care of the child. So other day, so wife will hear the lecture, husband will take care of the child. So that can be also done. So in that way, at least you are not missing yatra also, but you are getting some benefit. So it's not that you leave everything to wife and then she is frustrated, it's not like that. Okay, another aspect is same thing also in the night. Yes, it's very important so the night sleep get disturbed. So there also, again we can divide. So some days, of course, mother has more responsibility, but sometimes we can do like one day maybe you are with the child, you take care of the child, and she gets sleep so that she can wake up early and do sadhana. Another day you take responsibility. Another option is that you pick some slot in the night only. Okay, this time you are responsible, and then this time you are responsible. Then that again you can shuffle. So we can do that also. In that way we can reduce the burden. We cannot completely remove it. Especially if you don't have option of bigger family. And in that also important thing is so sadhana, chanting, and shravanam, these two things we have to somehow make sure. If you do that intensely, then what happens? You get the strength. Please understand. So, even if you don't do shravana also, but if you are doing chanting, do it with intention. Intensity is very important. So that will give you the strength. Okay. Another thing is, please don't blame the situation or anything. But see that Krishna is giving you this opportunity to come out of bodily consciousness. Right now, Krishna is testing you. Right? That okay, I need to come out of bodily consciousness. So let me, in this situation also, let me try to be normal and then practice Krishna consciousness. So we can think that perspective also. Right? Okay. So one day I have to sleep only a few hours. Okay, with the whatever I tell, So in that day, whatever happened night, so pray to Krishna that please give me strength so that I'll practice as whatever is mentioned. So try to practice that. So because we know the philosophy, but how do you practice? We say that I am the soul, I am not the body. We are speaking, we are hearing, but when do you practice? So this is the time. Okay. Remember this, because if you forget this, then this situation never can be overcome. Remember this, okay, today I'm soul, I'm not the body. Let me one day, have reduced sleep, but still let me try to change. So this one thing also you can do. Okay. So I think yes, so that's what the best thing I can think of. Hare Krishna. Any other question? I think so we should stop 6:45. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for your